Greetings, X fans. Announcement of a sad bit of news today. Jamie Jones, the founder, partner at Atlanta EH, passed away today. Terminal cancer. 1:30 Eastern Time, roughly 1:30 Eastern Time. People that don't own Excelsiors or aren't a part of the community but follow this channel probably have no idea who Jamie Jones is, but he was the vendor for all of us owners. Also a mechanic. You ship your bike there and he would do it to it and get it up to speed and get all the updates done for you if you wanted to do it that way. He was a huge wealth of knowledge. I used him many times myself. Many things I show in my videos I learned from him. So now we have a huge void. Marty, his wife, has Alzheimer's, and Jamie was taking care of her up till when he found out he had cancer, and in between was working on Excelsior Henderson's. Officially, Jamie had retired from the Excelsior Henderson community. I believe it was 2 summers ago at the Wisconsin Dells. He announced it and was turning over the new era to Mike Seastrom and continue on with Dwayne Judge and going that way. But he was still working on Excelsior Henderson's, and a lot of people had lots of time because Jamie couldn't work on them at full time anymore, would send them to him. Reportedly, there was 21 Excelsior Hendersons at Jamie's house. Some of them were leftover bikes from Gary Hook, Jumper, as he was known in the community. They were parts bikes, and there's some customer bikes in there. There's also some bikes that Jamie was holding for failure of payment, whether they're trying to save their pennies to pay Jamie for the work done or whatever. Those people are, from what I understand, are going to be contacted if they can find out who these bikes belong to. And it's really a sad deal. It's really tough. Many members in the community, I'm pretty sure most of the community knows about this already, are really taking this hard. It's 25 years. We've all known 25 years of Excelsior Henderson, and Jamie's been involved with his end of the deal, being a vendor from the time the factory closed, which was roughly 2000 till now. Him and Gary Hook, Jumper, when the factory doors closed, started hitting all the East Coast dealers and other places, from what I understand, and buying parts off the shelves, and started their own business. And mostly Jamie, Jumper, financially and helping chase parts down. Marty did all the bookkeeping and shipping. And now that's all gone. Jumper died 5 years ago, I believe. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I don't know specifics on stuff like that. It's hard for me to remember that kind of stuff. Numbers get confusing in my head sometimes. Jumper was sorely missed. He was probably the biggest member for our community that really pushed the bikes and kept the community together and stuff. And then Jamie did his thing with working on the bikes. He came up with several fixes by his own design and suggestions from other people with help. Marty was in the middle of it. Besides shipping and answering the phone, she was also assembling wiring harnesses. Our wiring harnesses are a little bit on the weak side. And I've been to Jamie and Marty's once a year for many years. There was a couple years missed. They had the annual roast and ride, where all of their customers were more than welcome to come to their house and have a free barbecue and go on a couple rides on a long weekend. and I really enjoyed it. Jamie is, well, if he wasn't busy, would answer the phone, answer your questions. If he was busy, he wouldn't answer, and Marty would try to help if she could. And he may call you back in the evening. I found that if you emailed him, he always did email on Sunday, and you could get an email back Sunday with the questions or answers to whatever your issue was. Jamie and Jumper and Marty all jumping into this were taking a huge risk financially, just unbelievable risk, with a known number of bikes produced and less than that in customers. And they were going to try to make a go of it and be successful and make a living of it. And they accomplished that, and they did it well. Not that Jamie and Marty were wealthy by any means of the word. They were not. They lived a very humble life. But they made a go of it and made a living of it, and Jamie is basically a world-renowned Excelsior Henderson expert. And that is going to be missed. It's going to be missed bad. So, there's the information. I don't know if there's going to be a funeral. I heard rumor that there was not going to be a funeral service. I'm sure the club will do some kind of memorial for him, whether it's at the 25th or some other time, or maybe, I don't know what the ideas are that are going through. I'm not an officer on the board for the club, so I'm not sure what they all have in mind. Those bikes are not staying at Jamie's. The 21 I reported. They will be hauled to 2 different locations, and if you need that information where those bikes are going, if one of those is yours, I can get that to you if you email me, and I can tell you who to contact. I'm not going to throw that out there now and get a bunch of hooligans bothering people. I don't think that'd be right. Trying to make claims or scamming people out of bikes. Jamie didn't advertise. He had a website. Him and Marty had a website. It was a great little website. He didn't advertise because he's had plenty of work. He didn't need to advertise. I always knew there was at least 6 bikes there, and I suspected at times he was working as close to 15. So I was really quite surprised when I heard there's 21. But I'm going to say there's probably 5 or 6 of those bikes there that were parts bikes or didn't run, and they're leftovers from Jumper. Not that any of that mattered. Jamie had contacts all over for doing certain kinds of machine work for him. Our transmissions, he had a guy that do that. Head work, he had a guy to do that. He contacted different vendors for different parts that he'd use on some of his designs. For example, the studs on our heads instead of the bolts. The factory came with bolts. He came up with some studs. Also Timecert in Las Vegas with our soft aluminum sandcast parts. He found Timecert, and they are a huge company for putting inserts in to hold our bolts in and not pulling out threads and that kind of thing. Those are just examples of what Jamie did. There's so many stories. I've met Jamie in person 3 or 4 times. I talked to him on the phone. I don't know how many times. A couple of times he just called, just wanted to talk. It was a promise when you were to call out there and Marty answered the phone or Jamie answered the phone. It wasn't going to be just a quick get the order and hang up deal. They were going to ask about family, how your bike is, what's the weather, have you seen this guy or that guy, or did you hear the latest on this or that about new designs, or somebody who crashed their bike, or somebody's in the hospital and stuff. They're kind of the hub for the community for many, many years. Well, all that time, actually. Even when the club formed, they were still kind of the hub for information. They would hear lots of things. When Jamie and Marty started, there was competition. Bobby Baldwin in California, who decided that he didn't want to deal with it and got out of the business and sold his parts all to John Jones in Minnesota. John got out of the business 5-6 years ago, and now all the parts were at Jamie and Marty's for a while, and now all of the parts, that would include Bobby Baldwin's, John Jones's, and some factory parts that President Dan had. From what I understand, they're all at Mike Seastrom's in Arkansas now. So it looks like our main driving mechanic for the community now will be Mike Seastrom. He's quite capable, and he's an eager beaver, and he's also just as friendly and family orientated as Jamie and Marty are. His wife, I get a kick out of Sandy. She's a blast, and I think they're going to be successful at this. Even though they're treating this a little more of a side business, they've got a business building custom vehicles, hot rods and that sort of thing, and then they're doing Excelsior Hendersons on the side. And I'm sure that business will be determined by how many bikes they get and how much work they get. With Jamie and Marty Dow gone, I'm sure the uptick will be huge for Excelsior Henderson's going to Mike and Sandy. And I wish them nothing but the best of luck, and they're going to be the second part of the era of Excelsior Henderson. Jamie, gonna miss you, buddy, and rest in peace. And I hope Marty continues her battle with Alzheimer's in a good-natured way that creates no harm to herself or her family. And I wish everybody the best of luck. Anybody that's on Facebook, I'm sure there's more to report on there, on the Excelsior Henderson site on Facebook. If you want to comment or see what's going on, I'm sure there'll be more stuff there, and probably, the way I do things, possibly more accurate. I hope this information is going to the right way, and everything else. Rest in peace, Jamie. We're going to miss you.
I'm gonna need some. Yeah, I'm gonna need some. I'm gonna need some church clothes. I'm gonna need some church clothes.